Hey, everybody. Welcome to the UFFS podcast number 11. Today, again, to talk mostly all things UFHL, of course. I'm, of course, your host, Darren Bates, along with the Fish. And we have a guest today, Mr. Luc Grenier, proud owner of the Red Army franchise. And I hope you said your last name correctly there, Luc. Hello,
Luc
Fish.
Grenier. Yeah, that's all good.
How are you doing? Fish?
Doing good. Good to be back. Good to be here for episode 11. Going strong. And again, you'd think it's kind of the dog days of November or slow time with the NHL not knowing what's going on, but the UFHL is busy as ever. It felt like the trade deadline this week. So Luc with Red Army was busy, and as were a lot of franchises. So they're keeping us busy, giving us lots to talk about in the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League.
You know, this Luc and Red Army and whoever his silent partner is, you know, I hear about this guy all the time. So I came prepared for this podcast here, Luc. I got this.
Oh,
and I got.
You got the vodka, right?
I didn't bring a shot glass because I don't know, man. I didn't want my stomach to turn on this show because that's exactly what happened, because this is just not my kind of thing. I got
to Russia and vodka, that's my act usually.
I came prepared.
Yeah, that's good.
So your history in fantasy sports, you know, I've read through, you know, your ownership profile that's been featured on our website and stuff like that. It sounds like you're not new to this thing. You have a history in playing fantasy sports, but more inclined to be part of keeper dynasty leagues and stuff like that. Tell us about
I've started with regular league. I'd say pretty late, maybe in 2000. We were doing pool before, but just playoff pool or season pool, and that's it. But a real fantasy sports, I'd say 2000. And I never liked the usual league where you draft, and at the end of the day, the year it's over. So I was always looking for more, and I joined a dynasty league, I'd say in 2003. And I really fell in love with that. I start making trades, acquiring players, and thinking long terms to trying to win. I won in some leagues. In some, I haven't won yet, but I really prefer dynasty leagues.
So what do you think, Fish? I don't know. I haven't really seen too much activity out of Luc here in terms of trades. Do you think he has a good idea of what's going on here? Or, of course, yeah, I'm being facetious, but.
Yeah, I've been a rival GM of Luc in a couple leagues over the years. One league and another dynasty league for the last 5 or 6 years. We've been competitors, so I know how wily and how strategic Luc is. And as soon as he joined the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League, I knew he'd be one of the franchises to watch out for, one of the true contenders. And it's proven to be that. We're on November 15th, and since August 28th, Luc has made 45 trades. I believe that's the league lead. If the Outlaws might be close to you guys are kind of going neck and neck, but Luc's definitely been one of the most active franchises and one of the most invested franchises too. He's really taken to the UFHL and worked a lot on his brand and certainly on his roster and protected list. So Luc can tell us a little bit more about that, but 45 trades since August 28th, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, 45 trades, a little bit of money spent. I don't know where that's coming from. It might be coming from the Kremlin. We're not sure. We're waiting to find out. Maybe you're going to let us in on a few secrets here tonight. We're not. You know, we're all ears, I guess, open to hear anything about this silent partner that you got going. But 45 trades, and I thought you were going to settle down. I thought you were going to be done, but you're still active, and you're still out there.
Yeah, but it's 45 trades in 49 days. I was trying to match the 50-50 record of Rocket Richard, 50 goals in 50 games. I will come a bit short of that. I'm not as good as Wayne. Wayne did 39, in fact, in 39 days. But I thought I was done too. I made a lot of trades, lots of foundation placed. Acquired lots of players, spent some. But lately, I saw Strong Island, I saw the Outlaws, and I saw that they were trying to do something, some catch up. And I said, well, maybe I shouldn't stop. Maybe I could acquire. So I start talking to GMs and saw opportunities. So now John Carlson is with us. His agent called. He wanted to join Red Army, so we made it happen.
So before we get into any personal details about the Red Army, we got a Blockbuster brand new trade to to talk about here, Larry.
Yeah, we got some breaking news for the podcast today, which is new for us, but trade number 45 just came down this afternoon. It's yet to be announced or processed, but the Red Army has acquired Dynasty's first round pick in 2021. Dynasty just went through a franchise sale. They're rebuilding, retooling, and obviously the way the standings are looking or the rosters are looking now, that's going to be a high pick in the 2021 draft or in our entry auction, which mirrors the NHL draft. So it's going to be one of those top prospects, likely, whether it's a Owen Power or Brant Clark or Luke Hughes, Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes' youngest brothers in the mix there. And there's some good forwards too, Atu Ratty and Kent Johnson we're seeing now at University of Michigan. But nonetheless, Red Army pulls off the blockbuster today, acquiring Dynasty's 2021 first round pick in exchange for 4 prospects. Nolan Foote, who could make the New Jersey Devils this year. I'm very familiar with Nolan Foote. He developed here in Kelowna in the Western Hockey League. I've covered his career since he was 15 years old. Obviously, a first-round pick for Tampa Bay, was traded to New Jersey, starred for Canada at last year's World Juniors. Also going to the Dynasty to help their sort of rebuild are 2 other forwards, both drafted in 2020 in the 3rd and 4th rounds. But could have been, I had them ranked in the 2nd round, both these guys, and they could have been top 50 picks. Brandon Coe out of North Bay in Ontario in the Ontario Hockey League, and Daniel Gushin, who is playing in USHL Muskogan, but is on his way to play for Niagara in the OHL. Providing the OHL gets going in February, and depending what happens with their body contact rules there in Ontario. But yeah, you got Nolan Foote, Brandon Coe, and Daniel Gushin, 3 potential impact forwards for the future for Dynasty, as well as a bit of a tough one to give up for Red Army. They don't like to part with their Russian prospects, but the Russian goaltender that Toronto took in the middle rounds this year, Artur Akiyamov, I think is how you pronounce his name, but the silent partner would have a better pronunciation, I'm sure. But Artur Akiyamov as well is going to Dynasty. So it ends up being 3 forwards and a goaltending prospect, as well as some cash involved there too, which will be revealed as part of the trade. But another blockbuster for Red Army, and again, gives Luc a potential top prospect in 2021. So even if Red Army finishes at the top of the standings, they're still going to get one of the top prospects in the 2021 draft. Likely, I mean, we still have a whole season to go, and Dynasty can make a lot more moves. Perhaps they trade and position their way, play their way out of the bottom 5 and end up not being a potential bidding for first overall with that pick. But the way it looks today, Luc made a play to potentially acquire the first overall pick or his choice of a top prospect in the 2021 NHL draft by way of acquiring Dynasty's first round pick. So another blockbuster for Red Army.
Congratulations, Luc. Thanks for helping Dynasty build their franchise up. Really appreciate that. And, you know, I had a look at that and I thought, here we go again. Here's Luc after these first round picks, after he wildly took what I think 60, maybe 70%. It was more than 50% of the top 10 first rounds in the 2020. So, hey, congratulations. Very strategic move, my friend.
Yeah, 2021 won't be 2020. I won't go after 5, 8, 10, 14 first picks. Just because I probably don't have the room to put all those players on my prospect list. But I saw the opportunity. There's a part of risk in every trade because I don't know right now where this pick will be on the draft list. But I felt it was a good opportunity, and it was costly though the players. But there's also serious money involved, so we'll see what happens. I was ready and willing to take a risk here, and the risk I've took this year, they probably all paid off. So it probably give me a boost of confidence on this one.
Yeah, no, it's great. Hey, but what I want to do is I want to back up a little bit, and I want to talk about, we talked about the fact that you're a fan of the dynasty and keeper leagues and fantasy sports, and we launched this brand new and what we feel is a very exciting and innovative fantasy sports platform called the UFFS, and the UFHL is the hockey platform underneath that. And what drew you to the UFHL? How did you find out about it? And what do you find different from what you've done before?
I heard from about it from Larry, because we are in a league, and I guess at some point he sent a general email to all the GMs and said, "Hey guys, we have a league. It's different. It's closer to reality. You can spend also." So I thought it was intriguing. So if Larry remember, I don't know how many emails I sent him, but maybe 30 or 40. And I had question after question after question. And I never stopped asking question, and I joined. And I really like what I found, because it's the most realistic league I have ever been in. It's true that you really feel that you own a hockey team, maybe not an NHL team, but almost, honestly. The rules, the grounds, the competition, as I said, the possibility to spend. You have you can spend, but you can burn yourself spending too. So there's huge risk. We saw GM in NHL making huge mistake. Maybe that's what I'm doing right now. I don't know. I hope not. But you know what? It's the first time I have the opportunity to do much more than what I do in league. Maybe burn myself, or maybe win, but way bigger than before. So the league was really intriguing, and it's really interesting.
And obviously, you've become one of the personalities in this league. I know in our other keeper league or dynasty league, there's not nearly as much interacting, and there's not really a chat room. But talk about that part, and just making friends along the way, which you highlighted in your profile as well, mm-hmm. that you're enjoying the community that comes with the UFHL.
Yeah, absolutely. In all leagues, you have difficulties often reaching out to GMs. And most of the time, you complain about the fact that you are unable to talk to them. They don't answer to your email. But the way this league is structured with the social media, the immediate connection you have with everyone, the fun you can have too, because in other leagues you don't have time to have fun. When when you can feel the guy is there, you spend every minute saying what you have to say, because you say he'll be gone probably for a week after that. Not all GMs, but honestly a lot of them. But it's not a problem here. We can talk as much hockey as we want. We can make trades happen in 1 hour if we want, but we can have fun too. And that's a part I really like, for sure. I know I've been gifting a lot on the site since I found some put in the gift. So I use them a lot. But I also use them to have fun, because that's fun to have fun.
You know what? Obviously, if anyone is tuning into this podcast that is not aware, we have a Telegram chat rooms, and we have various different chat rooms, one specific to scouts, one specific to general managers and owners. And then we have a wide open UFFS chat for anybody that's interested, just wants to kind of get a feel for what's going on in the league, just incessant chatter. It could be about almost anything, and sometimes it is. And this gift thing, I got to tell you, I'm not a big social media person either, Luc, kind of like what you mentioned in your owner's profile. But I go on there after a long day at work, and I see I have 500 chats behind. And I go in there, and probably at least 50 to 60, maybe 75% of those are gifts.
Yeah.
And did you not mention something about having a gift ban until 2021? What's that all about? Cartoon
I guess I sent a lot of gifts recently, and I told myself, well, maybe I should stop. It can annoy people at times. So I said I'll make a bet. I'll put a bet on myself, and I slow down. But will I be able to do it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
All bets are on that Luc can't stop from sending a Putin gif.
Yeah.
And we're doing the funny gift Friday now. Andrea Ellison and Liz Yonke are doing the funny gift Friday. So Luc inspired this week's funny gift. So we'll see if he can hold off on trying to inspire next week. So which was at the start, Darren with the hat and the vodka bottle. That was the funny gift this week. So it's every week those two, Andrea and Liz, pick out their favorite gift of the week that's used on the Telegram chat, and they reenact it. So Luc inspired that one, and we'll see what kind of gifts come out over the next week here.
Yeah, but you know, Larry, they started it this week, but they had a sequel of it maybe 10 days ago, and I was the first one to jump on the opportunity, and I won something with logos of UFHL and everything. Doing that, I was doing crazy stuff again.
You know, I was just thinking, with the merchandise store, we probably should have a Red Army hat. Just like
yeah, absolutely. You need to have that. I want that. You know, with the logo right here.
Exactly. That's just what I was thinking. It even comes down. It can cover my whole face if it gets to 40 below, like it does in northern Russia. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about Luc the person. So you were telling us you're very heavily involved in sports, so you know what you're doing. Tell us about where you reside, where you live, and what you do in
I live in the province of Quebec. I live in Quebec City, and I work in sports. I'm the head of sports in a newspaper, but I'm also I'm working in two cities right now, Montreal and Quebec, but based in Quebec City, and I'm running newspapers, sports sections. That's something I really like. I'm working in sports since 2006. Before that, I was in the news, only in the news. I've been a reporter. I've been information director in a TV station. I've been head of, and then I jumped in sports in 2006. I became head of sports of the French CBC. So I've done that for 3 years. And after that, I wanted to return to Quebec. I was in Montreal. We're closest to the families being in Quebec City. Quebec City is a nice city. I had an opportunity to come back here as head of sports of a newspaper, so I jumped on it. Every day, I appreciate the chance I have to work in sports. That's what I wanted to do all my professional life. I studied university with the intention of working in sports, but you don't decide where you work when you get out of the university. You go where they want you. So I've worked for news for 17 years before switching to sports.
Well, I think you and Larry have a lot in common, I would say.
Yeah, that's my background too. I spent 16 years in newspapers as a sports editor, sports director as well, and junior hockey beat writer. I covered junior hockey all along and got some good experiences over the years. Got to cover the 2017 NHL All-Star game in Los Angeles and followed the Edmonton Oilers on a California road trip through Anaheim, San Jose, LA, and interviewed Wayne Gretzky among Connor McDavid, all the sort of different generations of star players there. That was the year they did the top 200. So they had all the legends in Los Angeles for that All-Star game. So got to meet and interview a lot of interesting personalities. And then just recently covered the World Juniors in 2019 in Vancouver as well as a credentialed media reporter there. So that was a good experience. And we're seeing a lot of some of those kids are on the Red Army roster now or protected list, and they're going to be in the NHL here very soon. Potential Rookie of the Year candidates in the coming season. So Jack Hughes was there. He's on the Red Army. I know Alexander Romanov was, I think, one of the top defensemen in that tournament, another Red Army player. So yeah, it was a fun tournament to cover. And I've been scouting the WHL as well as covering it since 2008 here in Kelowna, British Columbia. So my background as well is prior to UFFS and working for Ultimate Fantasy Franchise Sports, or Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports, sorry. I had a background in newspapers and had a print journalism degree as well.
You know, Luc, I was thinking about how you've been in sports for so long. We were talking about how you and I were kind of stuck in the 70s and 80s, and that's when I really used to pay attention to hockey. I used to trade hockey cards. I still have my hockey cards from I even had Wayne Gretzky's rookie hockey card, believe it or not, until some of my roommates knew where I stashed my cards, and they got into that thing and stole it and sold it probably on the street somewhere, but I no longer have it. But I do have a lot of those 1979, 1980, 1981 sets of hockey cards. And of course, I chewed all the bubble gum that came with it, unfortunately, but I didn't keep that. But you were telling me you have a special and dear to my heart pinball machine. Tell us about that.
You want to see it?
I do.
I'll try to show you. I'll move in the house. Maybe it will be darker outside over there. I don't know. I'll show you the machine. Wait a second. It's right over there.
So is this what you do? You play this thing in between trades, or
No, I don't. I'll try to open it. Okay, voila.
Oh, there it is.
You see the machine? So you see Bobby Orr?
Power play Bobby Orr. Yes, exactly. And
not a lot of light here, though. I should have opened it, but that's the machine. So I bought it, I'd say 15 years ago, approximately. I found it.
I see the Chicago Blackhawks on there too.
But yeah, absolutely. His last year, or one of his last year in the NHL. They have the same machine at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto.
Wow, that thing's vintage. Must be worth some money. Probably bandaged at the knees, just like Bobby Orr.
I would show you what's on the wall, but I think with the glass, you probably won't see it. That's Evgeny Malkin signed photograph. I guess that's a picture of his sixth goal in NHL. He scored a goal in each of his 6 first games in NHL, matching a record of Joe Malone, a really old record. And you have over there Sidney Crosby with the blue shirt. I guess it was one of the first outdoor game in a hockey. So I had the chance to have those pictures. I'll return over there, more lights. But I wanted to show you the machine. I realized the broadcasting wasn't that good, but well, I hope you signed well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Luc. And good to see you're captain of the Red Army there. You got some signed Evgeny Malkin memorabilia. That's cool. He's the designated captain of Red Army right now. And you're right, that Winter Classic where they wore the powder blue jerseys, that was one of the first outdoor games. I have a Marc-Andre Fleury powder blue Winter Classic jersey myself because I'm a goaltender, so I collect goalie jerseys. But yeah, I got a Marc-Andre Fleury one like that too. So some nice memorabilia you got there.
Yeah, I love the blue shirts, that blue shirt of the Penguins. As much as I like the Chicago Blackhawks shirts, which it's the one I prefer in the NHL, quite honestly. I like the Montreal Canadiens, but I like the Hawks a lot. And it was helpful to have a kind of a second team since 25 years because it's been real quiet in Montreal.
Yeah, you got a few cups there with the Blackhawks. They had a bit of a little dynasty run here in the last decade. So good to have a team to cheer for if Montreal's not in the playoffs or not going deep.
Yeah, they're not really good right now, but maybe they'll be better this year, I hope.
Luc, you and my daughter would get along just fine. She's a Blackhawks fan as well. And we have quite a rivalry in my house because obviously she likes the Blackhawks. I like the Bruins. My wife and son, they just go with whoever is playing against the Bruins, of course, because they all hate Brad Marchand, and I happen to like Brad Marchand. Well, not everything that he does. I just like Brad Marchand, the hockey player. Okay,
he's a good player.
I don't like the face licking. You know,
no, me neither. Yes.
Yeah, no, you know what? We do have some Winnipeg Jets fans in the house as well. Of course.
I like the Hawks, the Montreal Canadiens, but I like the Russian teams too, and that's why I took the name, the Red Army. I always had a connection with those teams because I loved, as much as I was rooting for Canada in every game that Canada played Russian, I was always impressed with the Moscow Red Army, that fantastic team where every player was giving 110% of what he had. They were playing perfectly. They were putting every effort in every game, in every shift. It was a military team, so they probably had no choice. But they were really, really good. Best hockey I saw in my life, I probably said it before, but it was 1987, the Canada Cup, the game between Canada and Russia. I will never forget those games. I had a hard time watching NHL for 3 years after that tournament because the level of hockey was so high, so exciting that I found the NHL boring after that tournament. It took me times to readjust. But seeing Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky on the same line, we're lucky to have saw that.
You know, I used to, when I was young and Canada was playing against Russia, it was always seems to be one of those most exciting things to watch the Russian teams come in, because I think it's like you say, they had such a regimented look to them. They just looked like they were serious and they meant business. And it seemed to be, it doesn't seem to be the same anymore as it used to be back then. And I think it used to have, was it CCCP on the jerseys or something like that? Yeah. And I had absolutely no idea what that meant. And to this day, I probably still don't know what that meant.
I knew it, but I don't remember what it meant. But it has everything to do with Russia. But we thought that the Russian at the time were soft and were not tough. But one of the toughest players I saw in hockey was Fetezov, the defenseman of Russia. He was mean. He was tough. He could hit as hard as Chris Chelios, which is one of my preferred player ever. But I really love Russia, and I said, why not? Why not name my team not Moscow, but Montreal Red Army?
Well, Larry, if we ever expand, as we would like to do into the KHL, we know a guy that's going to be right on board with this, and he's right here, named Grenier, I think. So good to have you a part of this whole thing, buddy. I want to ask you, so obviously you've got family along with you. Are they in tune with your fantasy hockey fanaticism? Do they know?
Not at all. Not at all? No. My wife could not care less about hockey. My kids, not much yet neither. I have a son, 13 years old, but he's more into running. He's a runner, a really good runner. And my girl, she don't care a lot about sports. So no, I can't say that I get to share a lot of my big trades here. I don't.
So do you have all this memorabilia, and you have the pinball machine down in the basement? We don't know what else is in there. There's probably a secret Russian room where there's a lot of intelligence stuff happening that maybe you're going to share with us. Maybe you won't in your silent partnership. I don't know. But are you kind of like Dean Millard, where he's got the room that's just his, is called the Marsh? Do you have any special names, or do you own that space?
No, I haven't made the wise deal that Millard did with his girlfriend, where he run a room. I don't. I should have. I don't. But as you saw, I have a corner maybe downstairs where I put stuff. But I have more stuff than I have showed. I have hockey used, game hockey used of Phil Esposito, of Bobby Hall too, from the 1976 Canada Cup. They were given to me by a reporter who covered the event, and Hall and Esposito gave him sticks. And I have also a stick of Peter Forsberg with the Avalanche. That's what I have mostly. I don't have a lot of stuff, but I care about the few pieces I have.
That's pretty cool. So, we're talking about, your potential run for 2020, or I guess 2021 season, and winning the Klein Cup. You've seen it. We stamp everybody's names and everything into it. It's very professionally done. Of course, donated by the three Klein saucers, which are founders as part of this UFFS platform. But I was looking through all your 45 trades that you've done since August 28th. And I don't know if I've missed any, and I might've, but I think you've transacted a trade with 21 of the 31 franchises. And if you take you out, so 21 of the 30, there's only 9, I think, that Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Red Army hasn't transacted with. That's got to be a record.
I don't know if it's a record, but there's 2 or 3 teams right now that are not trading or answering trade offers right now because they feel they are okay, which is fine. But everyone want to trade, and some even more than the others. Atlas owner is something. I'm sure he'll catch up and pass me. He'll trade more than me. He's trading all the time. He was in the hospital recently, and he was trading. So he's something. He's a real nice guy, by the way. When I talk about friends that I've made in this league, Adam Stephens is one of them for sure.
Yeah, he's pretty active on the Telegram chats. I watched the banter going back and forth between you and him, and his artwork is phenomenal. And
sometimes, I have my ways to get a deal done when I want a deal done. When I decide, well, I don't accept the no, I'll get the player. And sometimes it happened once that he messaged me and told me, well, I want that player, and Millard don't want to trade it to me. Would you acquire the player and trade it to me for that guy that you wanted for weeks? Well, give me 15 minutes. That's how he got a Pittsburgh Penguins player that he traded since then. So, well, he is trading all the time also.
Yeah, that would be Jason Zucker, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Made the rounds through Duckman's Red Army and as well as the Outlaws. But yeah, you got the Outlaws with Adam Stevens. You got the Royals now with Arnie taking over as GM there. He's been very active.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you go 21 or 20 out of 31, I mean, you've done deals with over 2/3 of the franchises. And that just shows that you're committed to, obviously improving your team, but you have reached out and really got to know the league maybe more than most. So having that community and that camaraderie, I guess, is big, as we know in fantasy leagues. Developing those relationships with the fellow franchises and doing that groundwork, and maybe a trade didn't come together today, but it'll come together a month later, just kind of much like the NHL or any GM job in junior hockey. You got to work those connections, and that's something that Luc puts in a lot of time. He gets a lot of deals done, but he puts in a lot of time. I know from our other league and some of the trades we've made together over the years, there's a lot of back and forth before that deal gets done.
Yeah, that's true. I made 45 trades, but we don't talk about the trades that don't happen. But quite honestly, probably that there's 150 trades that didn't happen or were tweaked in some of the way. So you talk a lot with a lot of GM, and you have to accept sometimes also that there are players that you won't get. I won't give any names because it could happen that the GMs change their mind. But today I tried to acquire a player. I made a hell of an offer, according to me. But it was an hell of an offer. But you can't do anything when the guy is in love with the player. So I respect that. And by the way, it's a hell of a player too. But I'm working all the time. I have my list of guys I would accommodate and bring with Red Army, and when it's possible, I make it happen. But you don't need everyone to win. You need balance. You need balance in goaltending, defensemen, forwards, and you don't need everyone. And you don't need to be attached to player too, because you need producing players, and names are not very important, though it's fun to like the players you have.
Yeah, there are definitely some untouchables around the league and some franchise type players that teams are building around. For yourself, talk about going through the entry auction process and being able to land Alexis Lafreniere, first overall NHL draft pick, obviously from Quebec. That sort of an attachment there as well. But talk about building around Alexis Lafreniere as of today.
Yeah, but that's fun to have it, to have him with us. I wanted Lafreniere because he's a special talent. We can say that. Usually, you always say that your guys are the best. This guy, he has no ceiling. But I'll be honest, I don't think Lafreniere is McDavid or an exceptional. But I'll say that he is just below. But there are stuff that I like about him. The way he plays, the intensity, he has the skill, he has the toughness too. He can play different styles. He doesn't shy up when the heat is on, and also he's a game breaker. And all talented players can score goals, but this breaking is different. I remember Alex Kovalev in Montreal, and you could watch 3-4 games, and he was doing nothing. And in 10 seconds, he could make a high reel play, change the game. Lafreniere has that in him. He can transform nothing in something. He don't need the teammates to do it. He can do it all by himself, but he can also use the teammates to do it. I like his intensity and everything about him. So I wanted him with us. Will he stay with Red Army? Of course he wants to stay, but time will tell. As I said, no one is ever sure to stay, but everyone has a chance to win.
I like your style. I love your aggressive style. It's good to have you as a part of this league. Now, I know, you were talking about trades, and there's been a couple that you really you haven't heard from, different franchises, but maybe they're just scared of you. And I was wondering, I think I saw a quote in one of the Telegram chats that you have some, I don't know if scared is the right word, but you have some ideas on who you might be afraid of, or you listed some power rankings of your own. I just recently saw you listed off the power players, the Outlaws, Strong Island, and Rock Republic. You think that these guys are coming after you, chasing you, trying to take you down, or what's the reason for putting those guys out in the power rankings?
They are working hard. They have good players too. It's okay to think that you have a good team, but you have to recognize the works that others do. Even if you could check your team and say, well, I'm okay. But you're never okay. You never know what happens in a hockey season. You can have injuries. It looks that I have a strong team, but I have a young team, and you never know what happens with kids. So I respect others, and I like to underline the good works that I see around. That's the acknowledgement I made with them. I respect my opponents and competitors.
And yeah, we're seeing a bit of an arms race even this weekend. I think we've seen 15 trades through Friday, through Sunday so far. And it seems like whenever somebody makes a big move, Jack Eichel goes to the Rock Republic from the power players. And then boom, John Carlson ends up with Red Army, and Charlie McAvoy ends up with Red Army. So these teams that are the very active franchises, the franchises that are negotiating every day and treating this almost like a job, you're seeing them really matching up against each other. And it is an arms race, even though the season's a month and a half, 2 months away. You're seeing already the measuring stick is out, and the power rankings are sort of a work in progress. And a lot of franchises are determined to keep pace with each other. So now Luc makes a big move today, although that's a move for the future, but I'm sure we'll see some fallout from that as well, where other franchises will start repositioning as well and making moves perhaps with Dynasty or other franchises too. So it'll be interesting to see how these next couple months play out before we finally drop the puck. Red Army hasn't played any fantasy hockey yet in this league. They weren't part of the Klein Cup playoffs this year as a redraft franchise. So hopefully January 1st, we'll get to see the debut of the Red Army franchise and see how all these players gel together sort of, and what kind of fantasy points they can produce.
Yeah, that's tough to do a total power ranking without any games played. So that's tough to say exactly which team will be the best right now. So that's why I'm staying real humble with my team.
I like the humility, and I'm very interested to know a lot more about this silent partner. I want to hear about this silent partner. And believe it or not, I actually sent him an invite to join this podcast, and he hasn't accepted yet. I'm hoping he will.
Yeah, so I know you want to see the red phone, right?
The red phone, yeah. I don't know if I want to see the red button push, but I want to see the red phone.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was nice to have a powerful, known, rich, silent partner that wouldn't say much, but is always there with you, backing you up, but putting a lot of pressure. Right? It's a good show. It's an act that is fun to make too, and it makes fun in the league, I guess. I hope.
I think it's extremely entertaining. What do you think, Fish?
Yeah, no, everybody's loving the Putin. Unfortunately, it sounds like he's stepping down in January, possibly in Russia. So that might free him up even more to focus his energy on the Red Army. And perhaps he'll be looking to buy a franchise in the UFHL down the road. We got an expansion franchise going up for auction in January, which is kind of funny timing that Putin's stepping down around then. Maybe he wants to shift his focus and attention fully on the UFHL.
Who knows?
Well, you know what, guys, I thought what might be kind of interesting is just, all this Putin talk and this silent partner stuff. I thought it might be fun to play a little game and see how much both of you know about Putin. So I actually came up with 5 questions, and it's very much like the Ellen DeGeneres show. I don't know if you ever watch it, and you see this on other shows where it's either right or wrong. You just have to say whether this I guess, statement that I provide to you or question I provide is right or wrong. That's all you have to tell me. Okay, are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay, because I got my cue cards right here. So number 1, Putin has a black belt in karate. Fish, is that right or wrong?
I'm saying wrong.
What do you think?
Everything is true.
Well, you better go to school on your silent partner, because he actually has a black belt in judo.
Oh, impressive. I knew he had a military background and that he was into martial arts, and whenever the UFC's over there or whenever they're doing, Russia has some mixed martial arts as well. And then Putin's always a supporter and involved there. I've seen him with Khabib Nurmagomedov and other MMA fighters. So it doesn't surprise me that he has a black belt, but karate seemed like maybe the wrong discipline.
Yeah, it's judo. So how about this one? Putin's eldest son has been selected as a high-ranking official in the KGB. Luc, is that right or wrong?
I'm sure it's true.
What do you think, Fish?
Yeah, that one sounds right to me. I could see him following in his dad's footsteps into the military.
Well, you know what's actually, I tricked you guys on that one, because it's actually wrong. He only has 2 daughters. He doesn't have a son that we're aware of.
That we're aware, exactly.
We're aware of. He could have a high-ranking son.
Maybe I'm aware of it.
You might know more than us. Okay, so we're 2 questions in, and here's number 3. Putin's highest scoring hockey game in an ex-NHL Legends game, which he does, I think, annually in Russia, was where he scored 8 goals. Fish, is that right or wrong?
That sounds right to me. I know he plays a lot of hockey over there, and we've seen some of his gifts of him going backhand shelf, so he's got a little bit of skill in hockey. I'll say right. What
do you think, Luc?
You know what? It's 8 or 10 goals that he scored that game. He's fantastic. He's the greatest player ever, according to himself.
I give you cheers to that. Yeah, because that's exactly what it was. Some of the reports say he scored 8 goals. The Kremlin says he scores 10. So I don't know how you know.
That's 10.
But, and then I saw him do his victory lap, and then he hit that carpet, and he fell down, and was kind of interesting. So number 4, translation of Putin in French means what?
In French, we don't translate it. You eat it. the fries with the cheese and the sauce. You have to come to Quebec to eat ours, but I'm sure you have outside Quebec.
Actually, the real question was translation of Putin in French means l'introduction. I don't know how to say
I like the poutine angle, though. That's a good one. And we do have poutine all across Canada, but I'm sure it's not the same level as what you can get there in Quebec City. I'm sure it's the best of the best.
It almost just means really introduction, insertion, or put in. I don't know if that makes any sense. I looked it up. It was on the internet. Okay, the last question. The value of 1 ruble equals roughly 50 cents of a Canadian dollar. Luc, is that right or wrong?
I'd say it's wrong.
Fish?
Yeah, I think it's wrong too. I actually looked it up not too long ago, and it's quite a bit less than 50% of a Canadian dollar.
Yeah, you guys are both right. It's only about 2 cents. So Luc has spent about the equivalent of, I think, 1.5 million, almost 1.5 million rubles in the UFHL this year. So congratulations. And I guess, if we're talking about his silent partner buying a team, they actually say that Putin's net worth, or your silent partner's net worth, is about $200 billion, or the entire asset base of Russia. I guess everything in Russia, he essentially, he's in power.
He runs through about everything in Russia.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that was, thanks for playing along on my fancy right or wrong game, guys. I just wanted to see how well you knew Luc's silent partner. It sounds like, actually some of these questions I might be right, but Luc, you might know things that we just aren't aware of.
And I can't talk about it,
I know you can. I don't want to be in trouble for talking about what you shouldn't talk about on this show. Okay. So
maybe over a beer when mics are off.
Yeah, we never know where the mics are going to be. That's the problem. We might have to take a walk down a street in Lonely Oak Bank, Manitoba. So other happenings in the UFHL, obviously Larry's been really busy. The open market is keeping you busy. Luc's been active as usual. Things are going on. I want to talk a little bit, and I want to get Luc's perspective on this too, on, the COVID situation. We're in lockdown here in Manitoba. Group size is really reduced because of COVID. COVID's wreaking havoc with sports everywhere. I know my daughter's team can't play anything right now, but I think some of the players are being allowed to practice or play on different teams, and they're even leasing junior hockey players to some of the senior teams. Is this happening in Quebec as well?
No, because the junior league is running here. The only place in Canada where the junior hockey is running is Quebec. It's complicated because we have a region where the teams can't get out to play outside games. So they will have a bubble in Quebec City starting this week. 6 of the 18 teams will play there for 3 weeks. They will play only games in the Quebec Rempart Arena. So no, there's no leasing here because we have junior hockey running, probably because the league had financial obligation. So they really put pressure on the government to be able to play, but it's not easy right now for them. Lots of cases of COVID. We had two teams grounded for a month in Quebec. The Montreal Armada was one. The Sherbrooke Phoenix was grounded too. So that's tough here, even if we have hockey going.
And out west, I see even some WHLers potentially might be suiting up and playing in the Capella Valley Senior Hockey League.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting developments is senior men's hockey is usually getting going right around this pre-Remembrance Day or start of November. And we're seeing the WHL is planning on starting on January 8th is when the regular season starts. Their training camps will start just before Christmas. I think December 17th is sort of the date that all the players will report. But of course, they want to get these players up to speed and get some pace to their game. So they're letting them play. A lot of them have been loaned to the BC Hockey League and the Alberta Junior Hockey League, BCHL, AJHL. But we're seeing a trickle-down effect or trickle-up effect where a number of them are now going to play senior men's hockey, including one of the Kelowna Rockets, Ethan Ernst, is going to be joining the Grenfell Spitfires. And they have a few other WHL alums and current WHL players there. And And I know the league back home, the Sask West Hockey League, a lot of former WHL alums and some current players that could potentially surface there too, just to give them a month and a half or 8 to 10 games to get them up to speed so that when they show up to camp, they're ready to ramp it up, and hopefully no COVID comes through the senior leagues as well. So, but it's good to see hockey back. And again, like you said, Darren, the open market's been getting a lot busier with scouts because we are getting a lot more leagues going. The USHL, United States Hockey League, their premier junior league in the US is up and running. This weekend was opening weekend for NCAA college hockey for some of the divisions, and some of the guys that Luc will be scouting for Red Army with that potential first round pick of Dynasty, Owen Power, Kent Johnson there at Michigan. There's some real talent that's getting going again. And certainly our scouts are, we got a bunch of open market ads coming tonight that you'll see that they're scouting overseas, where Finland, Sweden, those leagues have been going for a couple months already, but now we're seeing more North American leagues are starting up, and the scouts are getting a lot busier in the UFHL as well.
So I think what's interesting with that, and for guys like Luc and owners of the Red Army, you have to pay attention to some of the stats in the senior men's hockey leagues, which you usually probably wouldn't really even look at, right? So it's going to make it a little bit more challenging, is what I think.
The draft will be challenging even for NHL team in 2021, because right now, when you have a top prospect playing at the World Junior or playing a game somewhere, each scout of the NHL tells themselves, well, I have to go. That may be the last time I have the chance to see that player, because guys are not playing in the Western Hockey League, OHL. So opportunities to see players are rare. So at some point, if it's not starting, I think it will. But in some leagues, you may have to check stats from the year before to make selections. So that's complicated for NHL, and of course complicated for us, though we have a fantastic scouting teams with Red Army, of course.
Yeah, I know that the silent partner probably has access to a lot of things that he probably shares it with you, but the Fish and I wouldn't know anything about. He probably has secret microphones and TVs all over the place, right? So
yeah, and we have access to Team Arena always 48 hours before some of the teams. Yeah, in Russia.
So any last minute strategic things you're looking at, or things on the horizon you want to tell us about on this show that we should look forward to in the next couple of weeks?
About the team, about the direction or something.
Yep.
I'll be listening. I'll be talking to GMs. You have to, when you want to make a trade, you have to understand what they want. You have to listen to their needs. And sometimes you find trades just by doing that. So what I'll do in the next 2 weeks, I'll listen and I'll talk. And I'll hear what I have to hear, and I'll see if there's a deal possible somewhere. But at some point, you thought I was about to slow down maybe 2 weeks ago. I thought I'm about to slow down because honestly, the spots are all taken right now on the team. And it's hard to move a Lafrenière. It's hard to move a Pat Kane. And why would you move it? So you have to know when you acquire a player, why you acquire it, where you acquire the player. And if you know it, but you don't trade him right away after. So it could be quiet, but you never know.
We might get a Red Army holiday freeze like we've seen a few Outlaws, the 12-hour holiday freeze the Outlaws has put out a couple times. And Adam can't resist. He can't stay away for long. He's ready to make moves. But I think, like I said, I think the Red Army's in good shape on paper. They're a contender as of today, and any upgrades you make of roster spots will just strengthen the team. But the big challenge going forward, as you know, will be the salary cap. It's a salary cap league, mimics the ceiling and the floor from the NHL. Whatever the NHL salary cap is doing is what the UFHL will. And Luc's got a very young team, but all those young players are getting contract renewals in 2 to 3 years, roughly at the same time, a lot of them. So he'll have a lot of maneuvering to do in order to maintain this dynasty or this franchise that he's got going, as far as salary cap implications. So he's got a great foundation, and it'll be interesting to see him work his way around the salary cap in the years to come.
Yeah, but you have to build a window to win, but you have to accept that it's a window. And at some point, the window closes. So you have to let go some players and start over again. And that's not what's happening to the Tampa Bay Lightning, but it's a bit of that's happening to them. So the cap crunch, you can't escape. So if you're too tight from the cap, too close from the ceiling, well, you have a problem. But I'm sure I'll get too close sometimes around.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay, like you said, what are they going to do? Because they are right up against the cap, and they tried to waive Tyler Johnson, $5 million player. Nobody picked him up. Mm-hmm. They have some guys they can hopefully move, but we expected to see some movement out of Tampa Bay by now, and there hasn't been. And then you have a big name like Steven Stamkos floating around, and Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings have a lot of cap space. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on that. Will Steve Yzerman circle back and potentially bring Steven Stamkos to Detroit as a franchise player, which would give Tampa Bay that breathing room. So that's something to keep an eye on between now and January 1st.
Yeah, that could happen. Yep. I think so.
Luc and Fish, we're almost out of time on this podcast, but as we always end the program every time, Fish, just wondering if there's anything important that GMs, owners, scouts, or anyone in the general UFFS or UFHL community need to know about in the next couple of weeks that is important to keep your eye on.
I think the thing is that eventually there's going to be a roster deadline. I think we're going to hear the NHL's plan. If it's not this week, it'll be next week. They're going to say what they're doing next. They're going to lay out some schedule dates and target. January 1st is still the target date for the season to start. But once we know the NHL's plan, then the UFHL's plan will take shape too, as far as the roster deadline, when UFHL franchises will have to declare their 23-man opening night roster, as well as be cap compliant. Can't be over or under the cap ceiling, cap floor. So they got to really look forward to look at their contracts right now. And they got about a month, probably. I'm guessing that roster deadline will be mid-December, maybe just after Christmas. And they're going to have to be cap compliant, and they're going to have to figure out who they want on their active roster. And certainly if guys have to go to the protected list that would clear waivers in the NHL, they'll have to do the same in the UFHL, because we mirror the NHL down to that degree. So really it's just getting the roster in place and set for the upcoming roster deadline, which likely will be a week or two before the NHL season starts, hopefully on January 1st.
Thanks, Fish. And I know Larry and the admin staff will be all over that, with along with reminders on Telegram and email and everything else, all the other great things that you guys do to keep this thing running. So I want to thank you, Luc, for allowing us to do this conversation in English, because I wasn't sure if we were going to have to do it in French or Russian. I knew on either one of those I was going to have a really hard time, because je ne parle pas français. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you for joining us today. It was really good to have you on here, learn more about the Red Army, a little bit about the silent partner, and thanks for playing my silly little game. Appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me here. Merci beaucoup. Das vidania.
There you go, a little bit of everything. So thanks for joining us today on podcast number 11 of Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports. And just like Luc of the Red Army, where you own the game.